Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my June 2024 reading vlog. So far I have started the book off of my 100 Epic Reads of Lifetime poster, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, which is about a woman from 1945 who travels to Scotland with her historian husband and then accidentally gets thrown back in time to like the 1700s, is being chased by her husband's ancestor, and is forced to do a marriage of convenience with the young warrior named Jamie. I am about 1/5 into the book, and it is not really capturing me. I'm not a huge fan of romance books like this. I'm not a huge fan of the Scottish accents, and I'm not a huge fan of all of the presumed assaults that are going on. She's already escaped assault once, and I'm sure that won't be the last. So far it is not my favorite book off of the poster, and I didn't expect it to be, but, you know, it's just a typical romance, and when people enjoy that, good for them. It's just not for me. Second, I am listening to the audiobook of Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I have read books by her before, most presumably In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and The Last Housewife. I think that's what the name of that other book is. I only read her thrillers because the first book I read was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and that was interesting enough, so I thought I would try out the rest of her backlog. So far I am only 10% of the way into it, so I can't say much, but it's a very, very odd premise. She has a lot of very odd premises in her thrillers, which make them slightly interesting, and I am excited to see where this one goes. This one is set in a small town in Louisiana where a body has been found about a decade after its murder, and you find out that the main character presumably did kill someone and that they found his body, his remains. So a lot of paranoia will be going on, and a lot of religious themes and themes of seclusion and religious, like she's very timid and quiet and stuff. So just a lot going on there, and I'm excited to see where that book goes. As for the rest of the month, I plan to read just a few more comics, and we will see where the rest of the month goes.
cutout dolls with a Snow White one. Nice.
Oh, cute! Okay, everyone, we are officially halfway through the month and a lot has happened. The two books I started the month with were huge flops, so Outlander is getting 1 star, and Midnight is the Darkest Hour is getting 2 stars. Midnight is the Darkest Hour was very, very dull at the end. It's revealed it's more the system is the enemy rather than the person who is being accused, and it's just a lot of stuff that has already been said. It just was not interesting to me. I guessed who the big villain was, and I guessed what was going on pretty quick. It just lacked a lot of meat in it. It lacked a lot of like flavor. It lacked something that gave it the edge over other thrillers. So wasn't disappointed in it, but just, you know, a little bored. Outlander, on the other hand, was its own dull, boring nightmare with absolutely nothing to capture me. The romance meant nothing. The stakes were nothing. All the assault, disgusting. I didn't like it very much, but you will hear more about that in my vlog. And you already saw the clips, but I went to another cottage with my family and I read more Batman. I read the James Tynion continuation of the Batman run that starts with their deadly designs and ends with Fear State. I like to call these the sacred texts now. These are my favorite Batman series of comics now because obviously the story is really, really good. These are written like comic books. You know when comic books are good? I don't have that much to say on them, which is why I don't make their own video for them. They're really good comic books. Like, Bruce is dealing with, like, the Joker War, and then he loses all of his money, and then he has to deal with, like, Scarecrow doing a whole bunch of stuff, and he just has to deal with everything. There are great new character introductions, like, Punchline. I love Punchline. Not to mention, you know, Ghostmaker, who I also really like, and I hear he is in a few more of the volumes that I have to read, so I'm looking forward to that. I just think that these are a great set of stories. I really, really, really love the art. Jorge Jimenez is like a fantastic artist, and of course everyone else in here is very good. The art changes didn't like throw me off, because there are some comics where you're like, good, because the art just changes so drastically and it's hard to get back into. I just really, really enjoyed these. The only character that's written sort of annoying was Harley, but that's how she's written in these comics. So these characters are all written like they're really good. Like, I could hear them in my head and they were like
saying the words they were supposed to be saying and talking the way they should have. Nothing felt really out of character, and I really, really liked the direction that these comics went into. So, like, more comics like this, please. Please? No? We'll see. And we've also been having a great weekend at home. Yesterday, we had a little vampire sleepover, so I will include the clips here.
Solo play. Roller, place the scenes in the order in which they appeared in the movie.
So the first one is you better hold on tight, Spider Monkey. Second one's the baseball scene, and then the third one's prom.
Correct.
Thank you, Carlisle.
You win.
And today we are starting a little 24-hour readathon, and here is what I will be reading. I don't know if it will be its own separate video, it depends on how much content I film, but this is what I'm doing, so you will see clips of that very soon. Stay tuned. boy. Hello everyone, here we are at the wrap-up. So this month I read, I believe, 12 books, so let's just get through them as quickly as possible. So for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster, I read Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I only gave that one star because it did nothing for me in the department of historical or of romance. I didn't really gain anything from reading it. I thought the stakes were a bit boring. I thought that the conflict of her being lost in time would be utilized way more, but it was honestly just a way for her to constantly get into situations where she has to heal her now new boyfriend, Jamie, and almost get assaulted. And I just didn't think it was very interesting. I then listened to the audiobook of Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead, and I am giving that one 2 stars. Her other books were normally pretty good and had interesting writing, even if the premise was a bit dull, but this one just did not capture me in any way. Cool. Garbage truck. I can't close the window, otherwise it'll be too hot in here. We're just gonna keep going. I just thought that the themes of murder and religious trauma just did not work, and the ending was just a bit boring, and I just didn't like it. This was not my favorite of her books. I liked In My Dreams I Hold a Knife to an extent, but I don't know if I'm going to keep continuing reading Ashley Winstead due to just not enjoying her thrillers as much as I used to. I then read Batman, Their Dark Designs, Batman, Joker War, Batman, The Cowardly Lot, Batman, Fear State, and Batman, Ghost Stories by James Tynion and others. Those were all out of order, but whatever. I really liked these. These all got 4 or 5 stars depending on the volume. I loved them so much. I really enjoyed the art in these books, especially the art by Jorge Jimenez. I think he might be one of my favorite artists now. I really enjoyed these. These were comic books. These were such a cool storyline and cool characters introduced, and everything made sense, and it didn't feel like it was doing too much. You know, when comics are like, you should have read these other 6 series, like they'll do that, but like this is cohesive. This is an arc. This was fun, and I really liked it, and I want to read more James Tynion in the future. I then read The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen, and it is a lovely interactive book with some really beautiful little artistic depictions of the fairy tales. There were 12 in here, and I don't think I knew maybe 4 or 5, but I knew the rest of them at least shorthand, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, my favorite story in here was The Ugly Duckling, because that's just such a moving and beautiful story, and I really enjoyed reading the original Little Mermaid story for the very first time. I, of course, have seen the Disney movies and other depictions, but I have never read the original tale. And so this was just a beautiful Christmas gift that I got one year, and I'm glad that I have fairy tales in such a beautiful and unique way. So that was 3.5 stars. I then, of course, read Becoming Batman out of the DC Pride 2022 compilation. I don't count it as a book, but of course I read it and shared my ideas. I thought it was beautiful, poignant, emotional, and really nice to hear from the voice of Batman. I then read Batman the Knight, Batman Urban Legends Volume 1, and Batman Failsafe by Chip Zdarsky. And then for context, I read the original Justice League Tower of Babel story. Mostly skimmed it, didn't read it too deeply. It was just in order to understand Failsafe a little bit better. Urban Legends was a very interesting story about Red Hood and him reconnecting with Batman and their ideologies clashing to an extent, and ultimately trying to stop a drug from hitting the streets of Gotham. I really enjoyed it. It was a very solid tale for Jason Todd, Red Hood, so this got 4 stars. I read Batman the Knight, which is essentially a little backstory about how Bruce trained with everyone around the world in order to become the world's greatest detective, in order to become the Dark Knight. And I really enjoyed this one, also 4 stars. Just a fun story that I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of his connections to people and how he learned how to become Batman. And then Failsafe is a story about one of Batman's contingencies. As it is known, he made contingency plans for everyone to defeat in the Justice League, and then Ra's al Ghul uses those against the Justice League and actually ends up breaking up the team and severely hurting a good chunk of them, all because of Batman's ideas. This story is what would Batman use against himself? So he makes a failsafe robot that only Alfred can turn off, and that's not good because Alfred's dead. And then he has to defeat this other version of him, because who could defeat Batman other than Batman as a robot with the no killing rule out the window? So very, very interesting little tale. I really liked this one as well. This is also a 4-star from me. Very good comic month for me, in my opinion. The books were a little bit lackluster, but I really, really enjoyed all of the comics that I read. So yeah, pretty busy month, pretty fun month, pretty chaotic month. I got to see a lot of people, do a lot of things, and read a lot of pretty fun comics. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.